Hey guys, so today we're going to be reviewing volume, and then you guys are also going to be working on some EOG style practice questions in your other two stations. So just to kind of review volume, we usually talk about unifix cubes or unit cubes when we talk about volume, and so I've made a figure here. There are two ways that we can find volume. One of the ways is that we can count the cubes. And I'm sure you guys all remember doing this. I could take this figure right here, and I see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cubes right here on this face. If I turn it and look at the side, there's 2 layers. So if there's 9 cubes on this face and I flip it around, there's also 9 cubes on this face, but I can count just to double check and make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 and 9 is 18. That means that the volume of this figure is 18. If I just look at one of these unit cubes here, this is a 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch cube. So therefore, for this figure here, my volume would be 18 cubic inches. I can take some of this figure apart. So I took that face off of it, and now I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this side. That means that I have 6 on this side, so now this figure is 12 cubic inches. I can take, maybe, can take those 2 pieces off, and now I have a little cube, and I have 4 and 4, so that gives me an 8 cubic inch cube. Now, another thing that we can talk about when we talk about volume is the second way to find the volume, and that is the formula. I'm sure you guys learned about the formula. Can anybody remember what the formula for volume is? Alright, good. I think I heard somebody say it. Length times width times height. That's what we use for volume. And I did abbreviate here. So L times W times H, L length, W width, H height. So I could quickly draw a small figure right here. And if I tell you that the length is 5 inches, the width is 3 inches, and the height is 2 inches. I could quickly figure out what my volume is by just plugging in my numbers there. So my length is 5, my width is 3, and my height is 2. So I know that 5 times 3 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30 inches cubed. And remember that when we are writing volume, we have to include that little exponent that's a 3 up there that stands for being cubed. So I always have my answer labeled as well. Just to kind of refresh, I know I briefly went over it, but when we talk about length, we talk about how long something is. So this is always going to be your length. When we talk about your height, that's how tall something is. And then when we talk about your width, we talk about how wide something is. So typically it's going to be seen from the side. We can find the volume of another figure. Put it up here at the top. So if I have this one here, and my height is going to be 10 inches, my width is going to be 4 inches, or my length is going to be 4 inches, and my width here is going to be 2 inches. So if I'm finding it using the formula, I know I'm going to have to do 10 times 2 times 4. And remember with multiplication, it is the commutative property, so I can switch around the order, and regardless it's going to be the same. So I know for this one I do L times W times H, but up here I did the height times the width times the length, and it's all going to give me the same answer. So 10 times 2 I know is 20 times 4, which gives me 80 inches cubed. Okay. We can also see volume as like two things stacked on top of one. So I might have to find the volume of a figure that looks like this. And this is kind of where things get tricky. This is where we have to do something called breaking apart the item. And I could break this thing apart in two ways. I could take it apart like this here, and then I can find the volume of the two figures and add them up. Or I could take it apart this way, and I could find the volume of the two figures and add it up. Since I've got it like this, I'm going to work with it like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 12 plus 2 is 14. That means that the volume of this figure right here is 14 cubic inches. I can also draw figures that look like this to find the volume of as well. Some of these figures may look like this, so they kind of look like L blocks. That's what we typically call them. My height over here can be 9 centimeters. My width over here can be 14 centimeters, or my length can be 14 centimeters. My width can be 2 centimeters. My height over here is going to be 5 centimeters. My length right here will be 10 centimeters. And I think that is good. So now most of the time on these I'm going to have to fill in kind of the extra pieces. So if my width right here is 2, my width right here is going to be 2 centimeters. 14 and 14. Right up here I have 10 centimeters. From here to here is 10 centimeters. So I don't have anything right here. So if this little piece right here is 10 centimeters, this whole piece down here is 14 centimeters, I'm going to have to subtract 14 minus 10 to figure out that this right here is going to be 4 centimeters. If I know that this whole piece over here is 9 centimeters and this piece right here is 5 centimeters, that means that this piece is going to be 4 centimeters right there too. Now I need to decide kind of where I'm going to break it up at. So I'm going to choose to break it up right here, going straight across. So in order to find the volume of this long rectangular prism down here, I'm going to have to multiply 5 times 14 times 2. So I'm going to need to do a little bit of math over here. 14 times 5, 20, carrier 2, 5, 6, 7, times 2 is going to give me 140. So this right here is going to give me 140 centimeters. For this piece up here, I'm going to have to multiply 4 times 4 times 2. Because I know that that's my width. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 2 is 32. Now I'm going to have to add these two numbers up, 140 times 32. So, or 140 plus 32, I'm sorry. So 2, 7, 1. That means that the whole volume of this figure here is going to be 172 centimeters cubed. And we are going to be talking more about these type of figures today in your volume station here in the library. So if you have any questions, please make sure that you ask. Have a great day.